it. Y'all cute. Love it.
Hello, guys. Welcome to the Nelly Drayton Show. I'm your host, your girl. I'm just kidding. My name is Drew, and my socials are LOL probably Drew. And this is probably a little confusing for you, but I'm going to be sitting in for my girl Nelly today. And who's going to be sitting in for me is my girl Kristen. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Tell us a little bit about yourself, Kristen.
Well, my name is Kristen Gray. You can follow me on IG _InChrisWeTrust.
I love that name.
That's where you can find me in
It's
most
fabulous.
socials. But a little bit about me.
Yeah.
I just moved here last year, excuse me, from Atlanta, Georgia. I was living
Shout
there
out.
for the past 8 years.
We love the Dirty South.
I do love the Dirty
I love it
South.
too.
My family has been living in Louisville for about 10 years. So I came back, catching up with the family. Definitely probably will make my way back down to Atlanta very soon here.
Nice. I lived in Atlanta for like a year.
Did you? Where did
Yeah.
you live?
I lived like in the Vinings area, like outside
Okay,
Atlanta.
yeah. I'm familiar.
Girl, it was a mess. I think I worked in Marietta.
Hmm.
Worked in Marietta, and I lived in Vinings with my boyfriends.
It's always the boyfriend.
Yeah.
That's the reason originally I moved to Atlanta
Mm-hmm.
was to pursue a man. But
Why is that always?
you know, it progressed past that. You know what I
I'm
mean?
glad you could say I had to get up out of that role. It was given. I needed a whole like rescue team. It was bad. It was all bad.
Oh, you were in it. You were in it.
Oh, I was in it, and I was not winning.
Mm.
But I loved Atlanta. I was actually, before I moved back here, was thinking about going back to Atlanta.
You should.
I loved it.
Honestly, like, especially being a creative person, unlimited opportunities
Mhm.
for networking, for
Mhm.
creating, for meeting people,
Yeah.
starting a business, anything you want to do. Like, you
Oh,
can
yeah.
definitely pursue.
I still have some connections down there that I like keep up with just in case, like, my life ever
Absolutely.
finds its way back there, because those opportunities were missed opportunities because I had to get up out of there. But I love ATL. Okay. That makes sense why, like, you're awesome, because
Thank
you're
you.
from ATL. I love that. So, obviously the show is about like creative energies, creative souls, creative processes. So what creativity do you that you can consider yourself a creative? Like, what is like your creative outlet that like is your passion?
I think that even from a very, very young age, writing was always
Mm-hmm.
an outlet for me.
Mhm.
I'm the youngest of 4 siblings. And so for me, writing something down was the easiest way that I could communicate.
Yeah.
And that was with anyone. If I was mad at my parents, I would write them an angry ass note. Like, y'all had me messed up, you know,
There
and
should be that
slip it
red
under
light.
their door. And so even, you know, from the very first moments of me learning how to write and how to spell,
Mhm.
I was writing, I'm going to write you a letter, honey.
I love that.
Okay, I'm going to write it down and I'm going to give it to you because that is the easiest way for me to
Mhm.
express myself, which I guess it just carried on. So,
Yeah.
you know, I love writing. I went to school for theater and I went to a performing arts school in high school. I went to college
Nice.
for theater. I suppose I thought I was going to be on Broadway. I don't know. I'm not sure why I chose theater
You still
and not
can.
like film and television.
You still
I
can.
always question myself about that. But my mother, she was the type of parent that would let us do anything. You want to
Yeah.
try it, you can do it, you know, within reason,
Right.
of course. So probably from about 4 or 5 years old, I was doing community theater. I was in Oliver Twist and, you know,
Shut
Little
up.
Orphan Annie.
You better come
you
on,
know,
girl.
little
You better come
little
on.
shows like that. And
Mhm.
it just stuck with me. The acting, the writing, dancing. I think I got a lot of confidence from being on stage at a very young age, and that inspired me to, you know, wear different stuff, wear
Yeah.
whatever I liked.
Just
Or, you
really
know,
get in your creative bag.
exactly. And
Yeah.
just from there, it just spawned and spawned and spawned. And it's always just kind of been a part of my personality, of
I
my
love that.
identity. Hmm.
So did you like journal, like write in a diary? Because
Oh
my
my God.
mom, that was how she wanted me to express myself because I was
Oh
like a
yeah.
very angsty kid. So like
Hmm.
writing was my jam too. But she like had me like have a little journal, and she's like, she's like, instead of saying it, write it down, and then if you don't want to say it anymore, you wrote it down. Like she would like
Oh
try to
yeah.
like teach me how to do stuff like that.
Hmm.
So like, were you like a journal girl or a diary
I was
girl?
definitely a journal girl. That's why I was just telling you, like, my notes are very sus. Like, if you look at my notes, like, oh, y'all, please. But yeah, it just offers just another way, like you said, of just getting
Hmm.
it out. Even if I never show anyone, it's never intended for anyone to
Right.
see. But of course, sometimes, I put those feelings into a poem, a
Yeah.
spoken word, or,
Hmm.
a song, even maybe. So, for me, I think that is an outlet
Yeah.
of instead of just having the conversation.
Hmm.
I'm not really good at confrontation because I have
I'm
a
too
nervous
good at it.
laugh. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
it's not to
Too
be
good at it.
rude, or if I'm arguing, that was always a ongoing thread in my relationships. Like, yo, this is not the time to be laughing. And
I
I'm like, I'm
know.
sorry, y'all. I'm nervous. Like,
It's just what I
I don't
do.
mean to be laughing. Like, I know this is serious, but I think if I'm able to express myself in a different way other
Yeah. Then
than
it'll convey
talking
exactly
all the
what you want to be
time,
conveyed. Yeah.
I'm gonna choose that route 100%.
I mean, that's the thing about communication is it's not always about, it's about being heard and making sure that the message you are sending is like being received. Because like
Absolutely.
things get lost in translation all the time. And it's
They
like
do.
if
That's so true.
if you're reading it, like you may not get the connotations that you would get from my voice or from my tone, but you're getting like the raw like feelings and
Right.
thoughts that I have about the situation.
Exactly.
So that's
And the words
fabulous.
matter. And sometimes you interpret them differently when you see it written down versus
Mhm.
how I'm saying it. Because I think a lot of people get hung up on how you say
Because you
things.
could be saying it in any kind of way, but because they're feeling some kind of way, the tone of it could be. You could be saying it in a calm way, but because they're feeling threatened by you, your tone is threatening, or your
Mhm.
demeanor is threatening. And
Yeah.
it's like, well, that's not fair to me either. So
Exactly.
writing
And they're
sometimes
going to
is like the best
disregard the
way.
words that you're actually saying just
Hmm.
because of maybe your tone, how you said it, your facial expression. And again, like, these are things I can't control. Like, if my
Right.
face is going to face, my
Your face
voice
is
is going to
facing.
voice. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And so I never want it to be such a confrontation where you're not understanding what I'm saying.
Right.
And so it's like, if I can write it down or if I can visually show you how I'm feeling, then that's what I'm going to opt to do.
Sorry. The nope cup said nope
Nope.
to the mic. Okay. And we're done on that. We're going to segue into our topic. We're going to make it like a very brief, topic because this is about creatives. And we were discussing off camera kind of how like sometimes creative people fall off their like creative stride. And we were talking about how we get inspired to like get back into that stride. And one of the things I think all three of us agreed upon that gets us back on our stride is like a situation that's like a high stress situation or like a breakup
For
or
sure.
just any kind of like situation where it's like your feelings are like overwhelming and you've got to put that energy somewhere.
Mhm.
And thank God as creative people we have realized that something that's productive to do with our energy or our emotions is to put it into something and like create something as opposed to like doing like hateful things to
Yeah.
people or like getting back at them or like
Mhm.
playing those games. Like we just create content. Now
Absolutely.
sometimes that content can be heavily inspired by events.
For
And so
sure.
if someone sees those events, they may be like, that's looking a lot like what happened between me and so and so. Oh, really? Very interesting. So
It is.
I know for me, like that's typically where like if I have been off my stride for a little bit, that's usually what like kicks me back into gear. Just because it's like I don't feel like I have anything to prove, but I definitely like I don't know. It puts a fire in me that like I
Yes.
don't really get anywhere else unless I'm just like truly like inspired or like if I have an idea about something and I'm like, oh, I know I can kill this, then I'll have the same fire. But there really isn't no fire that's like, oh, someone's trying to like really like dampen me,
Mhm.
and that's not gonna happen.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we're gonna get back on
We're
that.
going to get back. And
Yeah.
that's the thing about being creative. It's like we do it because we can.
Facts.
You know what I mean? I could cuss you out to your face.
Sure can.
I could cause a scene.
Would love to do
But is
that.
it going to sting as bad as if I write an actual diss record about you or if I put you in a short film
Mhm.
and you know it's about you? Because not only am I going to look good doing
Amazing.
it, you know what I mean, or make money doing it, or whatever the case may be, you're gonna know that this is about you.
That's you, yep.
You feel what I'm saying?
You get your
And
power back.
It's just a little, stings just a little bit more
Look.
when you do it in a creative way. Because now I'm
Yeah.
getting recognition, and you also look stupid.
No, that is literally my fantasy. My fantasy is that like somebody's gonna like do me real like dirty, real like just low down dirty, and I'm gonna like do something and like create something, and it's gonna like pop off, and all
Yes.
they're gonna see is like me, and I'm like,
And you're gonna hear a
I
song
can't
about you
wait.
while you're at the
Ugh.
club. You're gonna be at the bar, and you're gonna be like, "Wait a minute,
oh yeah, I
is
can't.
this play about us?" Like,
It is. Maybe it is.
yes, it is.
Yes.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, that's my.
100%.
That is like my. Dream, because like I'm not. I mean, we discussed this a little bit. I'm not really a lick back kind of guy. Like, you
Right.
do me wrong, that's on you. You're going to have to answer to that at some
Absolutely.
point, to whomever you need to answer that to. That's not my jam. But I will say, I am a lick back guy because I do want to, like, put out, like, some fire content. It, like, blows up, and this person
Absolutely.
cannot escape me. And I'm
Mhm.
like, you shoulda figured it out.
Absolutely.
That's my version of a lick back. I'm
It
not going to yell
is.
at you. I'm not
And
going
it's
to
a
touch your
lick
car up.
back. But you know what? It's more than just a lick back, because you curse somebody out or you go off of them in private. That's between y'all.
Yeah.
But you getting your lick back as a creative, yes, I'm getting my lick back, but at the same time, I'm getting my lick back for her,
Yes.
him, because at the end of the day, we're all human, and we more than likely go through the same
A
experiences.
lot of the same experiences.
And so, you know, for artists like Taylor Swift or Beyonce that can so easily you know, put their life into
They- yeah,
music. You
convey
know,
it
you
into
listen
music.
to Lemonade, you like, yo, this woman is talking to me.
Oh,
You know what I mean? And
look.
so it's kind of like, and this is Beyonce.
Me and Beyonce had private conversations. She don't know nothing about.
She don't know anything about it, but
Nothing
like,
about.
girl, we're right here, honey. Like,
She spoke
I'm
to me,
already
and I spoke to her
knowing.
back.
And so I think it's more important
Girl.
that us as creative, that, like I said, we have the ability to do this. We have
Mhm.
talents, we have gifts, and it's more than just us getting our lick back or wanting to be inspired. It's like, once you understand the power that you have as a creative person, you have a responsibility now.
Yeah, and in the grand scheme of things, there's like so many more destructive ways to go about a situation than just like I tell Nelly all the time, because one of our like points of contention is like she doesn't want to put her business out there, and I respect it. I respect it, but I tell her all the time. I was like, look, if someone truly cared about your guys' business and whether or not it becomes like a thing, then they wouldn't do it.
Mm.
They wouldn't do it.
Or you at least have me sign an NDA.
Okay.
Bare minimum.
You give over, you relinquish your privacy when you do me dirty in these streets.
Absolutely.
That's just how it works. That's how I view my life. Because the thing is like, if I can navigate my life and go through this world and be mindful of what I'm doing to people and how it's going to affect them in the long run, you can do the same thing.
Absolutely.
And you can navigate the world, and you can be mindful that with the way you treat someone might come back to bite you in the So don't do it. And if you do it, well, guess what? I'm a creative person, baby.
Absolutely.
I might just put that in a music video. I might just write a whole story about that, and I get taken off, and that's like a book that's like a bestseller. Like you don't know what I can do with what you did to me.
And it's all exactly, and that's always,
You don't
it's a
know.
risk. You know what I mean? Especially dealing with a creative person. Like, I've had guys tell me, "Oh, you better not write about this." Oh, I am.
Oh,
I will. I already have.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You got about 3 songs on there, baby.
Have your attorney contact me then if you're worried. But
I know
you know,
your
at the
name.
end of the day, that's how we get through life.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's how we are able to continue to move on. And it's not always something negative that, for me personally, inspires me to do something.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just looking at my friends, you know, looking at other people around me being creative, and that will spark something.
I've had like good love that I had missed.
Mm.
And it wasn't like a bad breakup, just 2 people that were traveling down different paths. And like I can write stuff about that.
Absolutely.
And it's not negative. And that person could, you know, consume that content and probably feel like I could have done so many other things, and this is how I chose to do. You know what I'm saying? Like that's why I like having conversations with like creative people, because there is like an understanding that is just more vast than just, oh, well, you guys only write about breakups.
Mhm.
No, we write about experiences. Are they always like super happy and cheerful? No, they're not. But, you know, the thing is like, it's my life. And how you treat me is not I have no control over that. But how I cope with that and heal from that, that is what I have control over.
Absolutely.
And if I choose to use that for inspiration, well, you know, consider yourself lucky. There's a lot of people who have done things to me that will never have a song written about them, or they will never have anything dedicated to them. So you meant something, or like you impacted me some way. So walk away like with that knowledge, I guess,
Absolutely.
or not.
I think that a lot of the artists that we like today, you know, especially when I think about like Mary J. Blige.
Mm.
Like I know like Mary, like you've been going through it,
Come
girl.
on,
We're
Mary.
like, this is some of your best
Mary.
work. Like, you know what I
And
mean?
then, and I hate
And like I hate that you had to
hate
go
that.
through something so horrible to produce this, but like thank you for
But it's like
putting it out.
inspiring. It's
It
inspiring to
is.
see like, because there are some people. I mean, we can speak very candid. You know, in this day and age, I think the tolerance for like a lot of like high stress situations for people is just not there anymore. Some people just do not have what it takes to like keep going.
Yeah.
And to like have artists and have, you know, people that we get to see what they make, be able to take a situation, turn it around, and use it to their benefit. It's inspirational.
It
And
is.
I hope like kids see things like that, you know, today, because a lot of kids get a lot of like they get fed a lot of negative situations through like their music and what they watch on like TikTok, and sometimes the pardon me, the outcomes aren't always, you know, pleasant.
Absolutely.
So I hope that they get to see that people can take like really bad situations and make the best of it, and like, you know, it's not always just as easy as giving up. Sometimes it's like, you know, be a beautiful nightmare. It doesn't, and a nightmare
Exactly.
doesn't have to just be like an ugly, nasty thing. Make it beautiful. And
Yeah.
be the beautiful nightmare. Because, honey, let me tell you what, this nightmare is gorgeous.
Okay. Come on.
Okay,
I know
look,
it's real. It reminds
happy
me of
talking.
I forgot what Kanye song that was when he said giving up is way harder than trying. And that's so true because like I
It
said,
is.
like when you know that you are creative, you know that you have these talents, these gifts, it's now I'm responsible. Like
Yeah.
I'm going to feel some type of way if I just let it go to waste.
Hmm.
So, you know, in that aspect, it's kind of like we do have a lot of power
A lot of power.
to be able to be expressive and creative. Like we hold a lot of power in our pen, in our tongue, and you know what we produce.
Yeah.
And so for me, it's kind of like I teeter the line of telling my truth, but making it palpable enough for where people can relate.
Yeah.
And I think that for me, that's kind of difficult sometimes,
Yeah.
if that makes sense.
No, I get it. I get it. Like, I try to make sure that anything that I put out, it's like, I don't want it to be too raw, because
Yeah.
sometimes that's just it can come off like angry, or it can come off, and
Mhm.
it's like the thing is like there's so many more layers to me than just like anger, or just, you know, like there's so much more, and I want to make sure that it's like consumed that way, that like
Absolutely.
it's a layered situation.
Exactly.
You know, even if it has like years of explanations that it needs to make it make sense, whatever I put out there, I want it to like be like, I want there to be like a start, a middle, and an end. Like, I don't want there to be like a loose end type situation when it comes to like my creative work. I want it to be like, this checks out. This makes sense. You don't even have to know me personally to know like what I'm even referencing. But I want there to be like a full like story.
Absolutely.
Granted, like my content is just consumable content anyways. I don't do anything crazy, but I like to make sure that it like, you know, if we're speaking, you know, candidly, I like to make sure it's on brand.
Mhm.
Like, make sure it makes sense for me. Like, I'm a
Exactly.
picture video kind of guy. Like, I like to do pictures, videos, and do all that kind of stuff. So I want to make sure that if I'm putting, like, if I'm feeling down, like, it's still gonna be on brand. Like, I'm not
Right.
just gonna put something, because I don't want nobody text me being like, "Drew, you
Are you okay?
You need someone to talk to." Because there's, I mean, I would say some of my best content, like on like my socials, I know I know exactly what that situation was.
Mhm.
I know exactly what my purpose was, and I know the audience that I was reaching to, and made sure they got met. So
Absolutely.
I love like looking on people's pages and being like, Oh, she was mad.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, somebody did her dirty because that's a bomb picture. I know what
Yes.
happened there.
And it can be interpreted in so many
So
different
many
ways.
ways.
That's why I love photography, videography, because even though you had a vision for what you wanted this to be,
Mm-hmm.
people will interpret it in different ways. And I
Yeah.
think that that's important too, to let whoever's watching it tap into that creativity
Yeah.
and that interpretation. I love when I'm watching a movie and they don't really draw a conclusion at the end. And
No.
it's kind of open and it leaves room for discussion. It leaves room for debates. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? But I think that as far as talking about your art and branding, I think artists struggle a lot with that because now it's kind of like I have to be aesthetically pleasing, I have to please the
Yeah.
masses, but at the same
Yeah.
time be true to myself
Yeah.
and be real.
And then you get stuck in this like box, like especially if it's like a brand. Like when I separated my personal page and my business page, I was like, my personal page is me. Like if anyone who knows me goes on to my personal page, they're like, this is like Drew for sure. Like it's all over the place. It's crazy. It makes no sense. My business page, I look at it a little bit more closely because I'm like, okay, this is meant to be like if someone stumbles across like my video on like Instagram and they click on my name and they come here, is it gonna make sense?
Right.
And that's one of the reasons why I like took a major step back because I'm like, I already have a job. I feel like I'm trying to do like a second job, and it just felt like a struggle. Which I mean, if you're doing businesses on social media, it is like a job. But it just felt like I didn't know where I didn't we I don't think me and Nelly still didn't have a clear idea like what this was supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
We just started it and then we ran with what was like making sense for us. There still really isn't like a concrete like concept for what the Nelly Drayton show is. And so with that struggle and then like trying to brand ourselves, it's like I mean, I think me and Nelly's brands are like a little different. So it's like, how do we come together and like make like this show a brand? We haven't even had that conversation yet.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't even had that conversation
But I
yet.
think that's amazing though, because it's like you guys can come together and vibe naturally. It's not so much pressure. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that's
I
what we
think
just
once you start getting
capitalized.
commissioned to do
Yeah.
art, that's when it's kind of like I'm about to spiral because now it's too much pressure.
Yeah.
And you know how it is. Like
Yeah.
you never know what I could be walking in a grocery store and something sparks and I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
I gotta write that down.
No.
Or you know what I mean? Like we
Mhm.
can't, at least for me personally, I haven't come to my creative journey where I can just pull inspiration out of my ass.
Yeah.
Like I can't. Like
No.
something has to happen. And
Yeah.
so it's like once you get to a level in your career, in your creative process where it's like, okay, they want to pay me to do something.
Yeah.
There's that pressure.
Yeah.
And then like for me personally, I get to a point like I don't even know if I even want to do this anymore. Like
Yeah.
it's too much. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like when you feel pressured to create, I think
Mhm.
that's where there's kind of a disconnect for me.
Well, then it's like, for me, with this being like the most creative venture that I've done in years, like I feel like, because I've had some people come up to me and they're like, "Oh, we should do a podcast," and it's like, so I should just leave Nelly
Stop
and
doing
just do a whole other
Why am I
podcast?
doing
Why would I do that?
Okay.
Like, why would I do that? And then I ask questions like, "Well, what would you want this podcast?" Oh, I don't know.
Mm-mm.
See, now I know that this is my bag.
Right.
Now that I know like this is what I can do.
Right.
You're gonna have to speak a different language when it comes to stuff like
for
that.
sure.
Because like that's just not gonna work for me.
That's so
And
true.
the thing is like this show only really showcases like a fraction of what I can offer. Like Nelly knows more about like what I can do, but the show doesn't showcase like a quarter of what I do.
Mm-hmm.
I do a lot of stuff, and I can do.
For sure.
Okay,
come on, honey. Here
Sorry.
Oh.
Sorry. The podcast has been great. It's been a great, like, it's been really like an interesting adventure, and I am very excited to like indulge in more of that adventure. As far as like creating, like being creative goes, it really like scratches the surface.
Mhm.
I think this has been a good like jumping off point for
Yes.
the both of us to
Absolutely.
like figure out, what is a direction that like we can take it, because we know now like there's something. I mean, the numbers show there's something.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
we can really capitalize on that, and I think I hope we can both get back into like our creative bags. I know me and her both have been like absent.
Yeah.
But
doesn't it feel amazing? It feels so good.
Oh, it's so
when
refreshing.
You get back into your creative bag.
Yeah.
It's like
it does.
It's been so long for me since I had that moment where it's like I cannot wait to like wake up tomorrow and like do this again and like create and just vibe out and just do your thing. Like that fire, that spark is like so needed right now. Like I was just telling Nelly, like, please, like whatever you want to do, like I'm thirsty to just do anything. Like let me know. Like you want me to come hold a light, like I'll do it.
I'm
like,
not gonna lie, I was like
whatever.
I was getting ready to come over here and I was like, is this like really what I want to do? Like is this really like speaking to me today? And I was like, I know me. I know like my process, and it's like second guessing and doubt gets in the way.
Absolutely.
And it's like, I know like what I can do for this. Like I know what I can do for this. And like this is at this point the show has become more than just like, do I want to do this? It's kind of like we have something and it needs to like continue for the sake of, we've got people invested.
Right.
We can't just...
What's that motivation? Like, what motivates you to be like, okay, I'm just going to keep doing, even though you don't necessarily always feel like doing it?
Well, I'll speak for today. I know that I was needed today. Like, it was more than just like, it wasn't just like I have some free time, let's film an episode. It was like, I was needed today. And I know what I was needed for. So it wasn't like I just don't feel like, I know that I was needed. So that was my motivation for today. And plus, like, I'm a creative person. So I know what it means when it's like, if we can get to this point, knowing what I know, then like there's some energy there that we gotta like tap into, And so I like it. It's not that I don't like it. I love it. I love doing the podcast. I love like talking and cutting up and having a good time. I love, engaging with people who watch it, who give me feedback and like text me about it, or my friends have been like begging me to like, when are you guys putting out an episode? Yeah. Because by the time this airs, I don't know, the audience may not even know that we've been off like the grid for like a couple months, so they may not even know that. But like, my friends have been like hitting me up like, when's the next episode?
You did. You had long hair. I feel like
that was a wig.
Oh no! Stop it! Wait a minute.
That was a bit. Oh my god! Oh my god! Yeah, your hair was like a lot longer, and I was like,
yeah, you were like, I was like, okay, hair. Wait a minute.
I mean, it's in the car. I can go get it. It's still in the car. Go put that bad boy on.
I've been bamboozled. Wow.
Well, I mean, I feel like I definitely have like cleared my palette of I've gotten my energy has been released into the world. Do you have anything that you have left on your plate to offer to the world as far as like this conversation goes?
Okay. As far as this conversation goes, I mean, I could go on all day, but I think that as far as me being a creative person and you guys allowing me to be on this show, I just want to express my gratitude.
Well,
it does mean a lot. This is my first podcast experience. I'm highly impressed. I'm
we've been doing it for a
while. Doing this again. You guys honestly are amazing. I love your chemistry. Like I said, I was watching a couple videos before I came. You guys work very well together. I was worried, like,
thank God we got the same job.
Am I gonna fit in? But
of course.
Look,
everyone can have
Nelly, now knowing you, Drew, I completely understand this chemistry. It's amazing. You guys both are.
Oh my god! Wow, this is like wrapping up into like a. I
learned so much from Nelly. Like this lady, she's too much for this city, honey.
Oh, okay, she is, honey.
She needs to be in
y'all don't even know
ASAP because honestly, like, following her on social media, being able to work closely with her for months,
I
understanding
know we're
the
still waiting on
patience that it
rest of,
takes.
you know.
Like, this lady, let me tell you something. I edited 2 minutes of film for our docuseries. It took me 2 hours
It probably took
to
her
do
like 20
2
seconds.
minutes, y'all. Like, 2 hours
The
to do
beast.
2 minutes is insane, but she sits and she did it. You know what I mean? And so I commend you, and I am inspired by the both of you, and I deeply appreciate being on the show today.
Thank you. I'm glad we had you. You definitely fit in. You're
Thank you.
right on brand. Since we're talking about brands, you're right on brand. It's been an amazing conversation. I cannot wait to have more conversations. And maybe when Nelly is feeling up to being back on camera, we can have a third seat. That'd be fab.
Stop.
So, literally, this is the Nelly Drayton show. I'm just Drew. I'm not like, anything out there. I'm just saying, if the fans want to get in the comments and say the same thing, that'd be cool too.
You is important, you is smart, and you is kind. Okay, period.
You're right. You're right. I'm not going to you don't have to remember about it. But that's all we got for y'all today. So I hope you liked it, you love it, and you want more of it. Please get into our comment section on YouTube,
Yes.
Spotify, and Apple, because we're on all those platforms now. And
Absolutely.
I will be honest, I haven't been checking it, but I know for a fact Nelly has. So show her some love in the comment section. Give us some ideas. We just want to hear from you guys, okay?
If you
So,
want me back, let me know.
okay. And you know what you're going to do in my DMs. I ain't forgot about it.
Ooh.
Okay. Sorry about that, you guys. You guys have a great time, and thank you for watching.